So today I thought it would be fun if I offended even more Americans. No, not really. If you take offense by these videos like a personal slight on your soul, I would suggest in a calm, nice way that you maybe reassess your priorities. This is just about observing some cultural differences between two places that seem supposedly on the surface very similar in the Western world, Europe and America, and I'm gonna basically poke fun at some of your foods today in a friendly way. Okay, look, I did this before and some people took it very seriously. It's just for fun. Today's video is brought to you by Surfshark. Surfshark is an app and browser extension that lets you basically put your laptop or phone anywhere in the world and lets you access the internet as if you're in that country. It lets you access and unblock websites and content that you may not usually be able to see. It also adds an extra layer of security when you're going out and about with your devices. So for example, I can use my phone, put Surfshark on, and none of those predatory people who want to get my passwords and my bank details and my private photos can get them. I'm currently in Spain and I can keep up with all the Irish content as well as the American content that you suggest to me below in the comments, so thank you for continuing to suggest them. For example, it allows me to access 15 different countries' Netflix libraries, which I'm pretty happy about. They have given me a code Diane for 83% off plus 3 extra months free. Thank you Surfshark for supporting this channel, and on with the video. Okay, I'm gonna ease into this with one that you might agree with me on. It's processed cheese. When you get it in something like a burger or a hot dog, you don't really mind so much because it's meshed with all the other ingredients, but have you ever tasted it on its own?
Well, that does not taste very good.
I'm talking about spray cheese, as well as cheese in a jar. Yeah, that's the thing. Cheese in a jar in America. Now just think about that. It's cheese in a jar. Is it still cheese or is it just a spreadable yellow spread? There are so many nice cheeses that you can buy, like so many. I love a good cheese board. The yellow cheese in America is just unnecessary, and I think that most American people would agree with me on that real cheese tastes nicer. I don't think it's that expensive to access cheese either, so why not just use real cheese? Okay, admittedly, the fake cheese lasts longer, so that's probably something that people take into consideration when they're doing chain restaurants, but really, can we just get fresh cheese? Good. Fresh cheese is good. Okay, moving on. The next thing that I didn't even know was a thing until people in my comments told me about it is putting tomato sauce with spaghetti. What? Okay, I'm not a person who enjoys cooking. You might have heard something about that if you've ever watched this channel before. I hate cooking. I hate it with a passion. However, one of the easiest things in the world to cook is pasta. Pasta with a jar of sauce. A jar of sauce that is made for the pasta. You can get mascarpone, you can get, I don't know the names of really any other pasta sauces. Like tomato and herbs, okay? Let's make it as unexotic as that. Herbs if you're in America. But just plain tomato sauce, I mean, surely you can get more interesting than that, especially with your American palates. You love flavor, you love taste. I have also a question about this because, as I said, people told me about it in comments. Do you put ketchup with your spaghetti? Is that a real thing? Or is that just somebody exaggerating to me in comments? Is it a real thing? Surely you can do better than that. I mean, it actually doesn't take any more energy to use a ready-made pasta sauce over just tomatoes. And I should know, I'm a lazy cook. Okay, the next one is bread with sugar. It's just, and I love sugar. Like, I love sugar. That is a thing. Like, I am the sugar fairy. Is that a thing? But the bread in America tastes like donuts and it never goes off, which is kind of creepy. It lasts like at least a whole week. In Ireland, your fresh bread only lasts like 3 days, to be honest, which is kind of annoying because then you have to throw it out, but at least you know it's good fresh bread. I find it hard to decide what is a donut and what is bread when I'm in America. They taste really similar. And okay, if I wanted to eat bread on its own, sure. Bread with sugar, great. But it's not bread, it's like cake. It's cake bread. I just like that distinction between the cake and the bread, you know? I just like knowing what is bread and what is cake. I need these definitions for my brain head. The next one is coffee that isn't coffee. Okay, I have actually no problem with a frappe, latte, choca macchiato. That's not a thing. Like, you know the ones I'm talking about, the Starbucks orders that are essentially ice cream. But just say you're having ice cream. Like, that's okay. You're having 1,000 calories in a cup of ice cream. I am all for ice cream, but calling it a coffee is akin to calling some of your salads salad. Just because you call it salad doesn't make it healthy. This is one of the reasons that if I actually lived in America full time, I would easily put on stones and stones of weight, because I would go around telling people I just had salad and a coffee today, or really I had an ice cream and like a full course meal.
I regret nothing!
In America also, your coffees tend to be huge. Coffees I'm talking about. They're really, really big. Here in Europe, we tend to drink smaller coffees and we don't drink them on the go so much. Okay, let's say I'm doing some busy job. Sure, people drink their coffee on the go, but generally speaking, you'll sit down in a cafe and you'll have a coffee. Students drink coffee on the go, which is fair enough, because when you're a student, you have no time. You are working your bum off. But yeah, I guess maybe I have more of a problem with calling it coffee when it's just got like that much coffee and that much ice cream, but yeah. Okay, the next one I don't understand, and let's call this a straight up bias, because I don't think I've ever actually tasted it, and that is not a cue for you all to send me loads of it. It's beef jerky. I just can't get on board with the concept of beef jerky. One of my friends from America, Nadia, came over from America and she gave my dog beef jerky and he loved it. But I was like, well, yeah, he's a dog, he's gonna love beef jerky. Me eating beef jerky, not so much. I just can't imagine opening a wrapper and just walking around eating a slab of meat. Like, what is that? Again, I haven't tried it, but I've got to imagine it tastes really plasticky. And how far from meat is it actually? Does it taste like you're walking around eating a stick of bacon? Or does it taste like something other? Please don't send me loads of beef jerky. I just know it's going to happen now. Okay. But no, beef jerky, walking around eating a stick of meat, no. Don't get it. Next up, corn dogs. I tried corn dogs when I was in New York and I was very surprised that they don't have that much to do with corn. I honestly thought it was a load of corn wrapped up in like a breadcrumb, but it's not. It's the breadcrumb itself that's actually corn crumb. It's just a hot dog rolled in that corn stuff and then like deep fried. It's not corn at all. And here's my problem with the corn dog. Okay, on straight up just eating it level, tasted good, but it also tasted really bad for me, and like very unnecessarily so. I'll be honest, my palate errs towards sweet rather than savory, so I would rather waste all my calories on sweet stuff rather than savory. But to me, the corn dog just didn't have a place. I couldn't find a place in my head where I would be craving specifically a corn dog. A hot dog, yes. Corn dog, not so much. Just tasted like it was going to give me a heart attack. Which it probably would, but you know, if you like corn dogs, I totally get why you are willing to make that sacrifice, you know? My theory is, let's just eat what we want and die young. Look, I was happy, I ate everything. But yeah, corn dogs, just, we don't have them here, and I just don't get them. Next up, pumpkin. Okay, we all know the jokes about how there's a certain season of the year that everyone drinks pumpkin spiced everything and cake, pumpkin spiced cake, and pumpkin spiced everything. Let's just go all the way back to pumpkin. Pumpkin is not a delicious flavor. Pumpkin makes a nice aesthetic ornament in a certain season of the year for Halloween. Do you actually like the taste of pumpkin? Pumpkin pie. Do you really love pumpkin pie? Or do you just like the idea of pumpkin pie? Do you just like the nostalgic sentiment of pumpkin pie? Because pumpkin doesn't taste nice, and I will fight you on that one. It just doesn't. I don't think any other country in the world is into pumpkin in the way that Americans are into pumpkin. I don't get it. Next up, Kool-Aid. I drank Kool-Aid in a video on Facts channel, I think a really long time ago, and while it was fine tasting, I just didn't completely get it. I understand as a kid you enjoy the novelty of like, you're making your drink, but as an adult, I'm just like, oh, it takes a really unnecessary amount of work to drink this drink, and it still tasted powdery. I'll be honest, I could still taste the particles of powder. Just give me my drink ready-made and I'll be on board with it. Also, again, very, very sugary, but I was okay with that element on a personal level, but it does taste like you're just drinking a glass of sugar. If I was at a party and I rocked up and there was a big bowl of Kool-Aid, I think I would enjoy the novelty factor, but I'm just too lazy to make Kool-Aid. Why are you making me work for my soft drink? The next thing is American sausage. Okay, when I was in, I think it was Denny's, I got presented sausage and it looked like this. And that's not sausage. Sausage is long. Stop. You know what I mean though? It's like sausage is shaped like sausage. Why was it flat packed like an IKEA sausage? It was so strange. Also, I learned that in America, sausage doesn't automatically equate pork, whereas in Ireland, sausage is always a pork sausage. In America, you can have a beef sausage, which is just wild. So crazy. I don't want a beef sausage. If I want beef, I'll order beef, you know? And speaking of beef, it brings me to my number one thing, that all these other things in the list I can kind of get on board with in a way, but definitely not the number one thing. Do you know when you hear certain things and like it just makes your throat go, oh. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm aware I'm a big baby, but I am a picky eater. To which I can only apologise, because I try to be open-minded, but I'm just not. It's meatloaf, okay? Who thought of meatloaf? It's just not good. Oh god, no! Meatloaf is ground meat, any meat, and okay, admittedly I have biases toward minced beef, but any meat just ground up. And here's the thing, you'd think if it's kind of gross it would be good for you, but it's not. It's actually made from like the worst parts of meat, the fatty parts that nobody else wants, and they just grind them up. They grind them up and they make them into meatloaf, and it's not even good for you. Okay, I'm gonna say that there are people out there whose mom makes a great meatloaf, and okay, that's cool, you've got that nostalgia thing going for you. I don't. I did not have meatloaf growing up, and well, I was reading what goes into a meatloaf: eggs, ketchup, tomato paste, mustard, Worcestershire, barbecue, or some combination of wet seasonings. Okay, up until seasonings, no. All that stuff together just sounds... That was my prettiest face ever on the channel. Anyway, those are things that I don't like to eat. Tell me why I'm wrong below in the comments. I will be respectful to you, and you can be respectful to me unless you are truly offended, to which I am sorry. Special shout out today to Brian Ediger's mother. He says, without whom I would not be where I am today, more ways than one. She's been a great mother, an example of how to live. This picture is from 8 years ago when she married Brian's late stepdad. Thanks, Brian. That's it for today's list. I hope you enjoyed it and didn't take any personal offense. Do check out Surfshark. They help me support the channel, and when you click on their link, it's a good thing for me, so thank you if you do. Bye.